Hey guys, Fun Bun's here. Let's relearn and review this time with figurative language. For starters, what is figurative language? It's the opposite of literal language. If something is literal, it means exactly what it says. If something is figurative, it means something other than what it says. Figurative language has a different meaning than the words that are actually being said. Once you're done reviewing with me, figurative language will be a piece of cake for you. See what I did there? A piece of cake is figurative language. It's a special type of figurative language called an idiom. If I was being literal, then we'd have to change words into an actual cake. And I wish we could do that, because it would be yummy. But we can't. So I hope it would be carrot cake if we could, though. Yeah, we can't, though. You knew when I said that what I meant was it's going to be really easy. That's what the saying means, and you probably knew that, so you already understand some figurative language. All we have to do is build on what you know. So let's dive in. That's figurative language again. We aren't really diving into anything. Let's start with the one I already mentioned, idioms. An idiom is a well-known phrase or expression that means something other than its literal meaning. If something is a piece of cake, then that means it's really easy. If it's raining cats and dogs, it means that it's raining really hard. It doesn't actually mean this, because that would be bad. Yeah. An idiom has to be a well-known phrase. It can't be just something that you make up on the spot. If a lot of people don't know it, then it won't be an idiom. Idioms are used to bring understanding and familiarity. An author might use an idiom to convey meaning or just to keep their work from being repetitive, which is nice of them if you think about it. The next one we'll talk about is an allusion. An allusion is a reference to another work or place or event or person that's outside of the story. I could say, my diet was going really well until I ate a bunch of candy and now it's not going well at all. You understand what I'm saying, but I'm being literal. So I could change that to some figurative language. I could say, my diet was going really well until someone offered me candy. Candy is my diet's kryptonite. The allusion here is to the story of Superman. In the Superman story, Superman can't be harmed unless there's kryptonite around. Kryptonite is his one great weakness. And when you know that my diet was resisting everything else until candy came along, because candy is my one great weakness. And I don't have to say all that because of the allusion. When we use an allusion, we get to draw some previous knowledge in to help form meaning. I can tell you that I'm on a diet and that I like candy, but it doesn't have the same effect as using a Superman reference does. When you know that about Superman, the author can quickly and easily draw on all your previous knowledge to create meaning and understanding in their work. Okay? All right, what's next? Alliteration. Galloping ghosts, what a groovy idea. An alliteration is the repetition of sounds at the beginning of a word. Not quite the repetition of letters, because sometimes letters make different sounds, so focus on the sounds at the beginning of the words. You're familiar with a few popular alliterations. We call them tongue twisters. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. That's an alliteration. The repetition of the first sound in a word gives rhythm and flow to an author's words. That rhythm helps to make the words memorable and keep your reader's attention so that the readers don't turn into a babbling, bumbling band of baboons. See what I did there? All right, on to the next one on our list. It's a hyperbole. When you think of a hyperbole, think of the first part of the word hyper. When someone is hyper, they're just excited and they're moving fast and they're talking fast and everything about them is exaggerated, just like a hyperbole. A hyperbole is an intentional exaggeration to convey meaning and extent. So I've told you this 1,000,000 times, right? That's not literal, it's figurative. You haven't heard anyone say anything 1,000,000 times, or at least I hope you haven't. What it means is, I've told you a lot. In this case, the hyperbole shows some frustration in the mood and the tone, maybe even some anger. We use hyperbole to give meaning to our words beyond the literal. Remember, hyper equals exaggeration. All right. Next one is simile. Simile is one of the more common figures of speech. A simile is a comparison of two things using the keywords like or as. He was as strong as a hero of old. She wrote like a celebrated poet. Because these comparisons use like and as, they're similes, and because you're familiar with the idea of a hero or a celebrated poet, the author can convey meaning to their work, just like we did in the other figurative language. We're pulling in outside knowledge, previous knowledge that you already have, and adding it to our work. Now, a metaphor compares two things that are not really similar, except that they're similar in a specific point. So here's an example. She has a heart of gold. Hearts and gold have nothing in common, but gold is precious and her heart is precious, and that's the connection. You take the precious, valuable aspects of the gold and convey them to someone's heart or their character. How about this? He is a lion on the battlefield. Now, he's not really a lion, right? But lions are fierce and powerful, and on the battlefield, the guy that I'm talking about is also fierce and powerful. And an author can use a metaphor to draw on your knowledge of something else and give those qualities to their subject, which is really helpful sometimes. The next one is personification. When you see the word personification, think of the first part, person. Personification is when an author takes human qualities and characteristics and gives them to a non-human thing. Person qualities to a non-person is personification. Personification. Most of Pixar is a personification of something. Cars, planes, toys, birds, all the things, right? If you give something human characteristics, you have personified it. Now, there are lots more types of figurative language, but these are the ones that we're going to review today, okay? So thanks for staying with me. Remember, you can watch this 1,000,000 times if you want to. It will make your grades soar like Superman if you do. If you don't study, you might fall, fail, flunk, and otherwise fiddle away your first high school English experience. So English 1 can be a bear sometimes, but you can wrestle it into submission. With a little work, English 1 is a piece of cake. Fun Bun, over and out.